So this again, huh? What's up, everyone? My name is Talkers101. Today we're back with some more team building. The way I'm doing it right now, we just had the GPC draft, Grand Pokemon Conference. That's probably what it means. But I drafted a lot of mons which I feel comfortable, and a lot of people are doubting my draft. Draft analysis will be soon. Haven't even started yet. But I'm assuming I'll put that up soon. And as I said, I went with a lot of mons I feel comfortable with. Then I have some mons which I've barely ever used, and I figure, you know what, better now than never, I guess. So I started to build with them, and this is a team I've built 2 days ago. Sorry, I'm gotta get rid of my wallet because that's still in my back pocket, and it's annoying while sitting down. Random Socrates moment. There we go. But thing being is we have I've drafted Scolipede basically for speed boost passing, hazard stacking, just offensive presence, because its offensive stat is not nothing to sneeze at. Poison is actually a decent offensive typing, especially when fairies are very prevalent, and the majority of teams want a fairy type on there. I don't think I have one. Well done remembering your own draft, but whatever. So I decided to build around Scolipede because I wanted to get more used to Scolipede in general. So I decided, you know what, let's just do that. So I went with I went with an offensive set, and then I figured, wait, I don't actually know what to add and what to do, and then I started thinking about hazard stacking one, and then I had a team-ish concept in mind, had a concept, and that's what I started to build around. So I just went on Smogon, right, and looked, okay, what's the cool set to run with, every Smogon set is the cool set to run. That's how I define Smogon sets. But I just looked at it and I thought, okay, this can work. So I went with a Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Endeavor, Mega Horn, Scolipede. This thing naturally outspeeds a lot in this tier, especially with the jolly nature. It speeds base 110s, which are the Lottie twins, and then stat Mega Horn just straight up Okos. So maybe it's nice to keep this thing in the back. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you look at the opponent's team and you're like, well, Mega Horn is not going to do shit, and I just need Spikes up, which is a very good. Sometimes they're only spinner. Sometimes they only have a spinner. Sometimes they only have a defogger who's susceptible to toxic spikes. And then you're like, well, let me just throw up some T spikes first. So maybe if they see an opportunity to get rid of them, then at least their defogger, which usually is a bulky mon, not always. There is offensive Stormy, but an Excadrill. But usually those are bulky-ish mons, and then as soon as you get up those toxic spikes, then those get residual damage, depending on how many toxic spikes you got up. That depends on the damage output of each and every turn. Obviously, one toxic spike, 12% every single turn, and 2 toxic spikes is going to be badly poisoned, and that's going to be 6%, 12%, 18%, etc. So without any further ado, let's just jump into the team building process. So what I decided to do is just hazard stack, and I wanted to do that with one of my newly favorite mons because I drafted in a Pika, and Hippowdon doesn't like dying. So the mixed defensive set is what I went with, and basically that means that I just put Stealth Rocks on it, I put Earthquake on it, Stone Edge just to hit them damn Talonflames and potentially Zard Wise, even though you usually don't want to stand on those because they will roast you. So Earthquake, Stone Edge, and then there's Slack Off. The stats on Hippowdon are pretty insane. It has over a base 100 HP and defense, so you don't need to invest fully in either of those. I always forget how much everything runs, but basically since Hippowdon is resistant to Stealth Rocks, you can just run 252 HP instead of 248. So that doesn't really matter. And then the defense on this one is just going to be 144 and 112 in speed depth. So you can actually take on Mega Electric, you can take on Raikou. This is a reliable switch into both of those. And often when you see Raikou's doing too much damage, you know it's Choice Bugs, and then you can just pivot around and just go into your Starmie, which is something we apparently have on this team, and pivot around it like that. So we go with an impish nature because Hippowdons mainly are physically bulky mon, and now we need something that can capitalize on all these hazards, something that can late game clean, put a lot of pressure on the opponent's team, and that's going to be Charizard X. So the thing I wanted to build around basically was Scolipede plus Charizard X. That was the thing I wanted to build around, that's what I started with. And I figured Hippowdon fit in well, and this makes more sense building it this way for explaining it to you guys. So I went with a bulky Dragonon set, which basically means Dragonons, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and then we have Roost. So the bulky set basically means that you want to be outspeeding Jolly Bisharp and Breloom. So Breloom can now actually put you to sleep before you kill it. And so that means 112 because they hit 263. Wait. They hit 263, yeah. You want to hit 264. Do they though? Don't they hit 262? Doesn't matter. This is the set you run around. And then you put everything in attack. No special attack at all. And then you put the remaining 144 in HP. So this is the Charizard set we went with. If you run Flare Blizz and Dragon Claw, you can't hit the likes of Heatran and a lot of things. This set kind of gets walled by Skarmory, but Skarmory isn't something this team struggles with, because we are gonna go into the next mon. Seeing that we have a hazard stacking team and we want to keep hazards on our side of the field, but we want to keep hazard on our side of the field. Way to go, Socrates. You want to keep hazards on their side of the field because otherwise your Scolipede Suicide Lead is kind of in vain. And you don't want to have hazards on your fields, especially. We do have a Charizard which is weak to Stealth Rocks. We do have a Scolipede that's weak to Stealth Rocks. I don't. Oh, and there's one other mon in this team which I will reveal last. That's also weak to Stealth Rocks. So that's not something we like. So I went with Starmie, which is a very reliable mon, but the way the things are looking right now is because we don't have a switch in for Keldeo, so that's why I went with Starmie, and I've had an offensive Starmie at first, and then I was looking at this team, and I basically figured, you know what, it's probably not the route I want to take, because I have nothing for Keldeo. Offensive Starmie switches in one time to Keldeo and that's it. While this guy can just switch in, and if it specs you can outspeed and then recover off, and only Hydro Pump will do significant damage, Scald not so much. So this is a Scald, Recover, Side Shock and Rapid Spin, and then there's the standard one which runs 244 in a speed, 248 into HP, and then the remaining 16 in special defense. No idea if that allows you to lift anything significant. I don't think it does. I think it just makes you a tiny bit bulkier, as bulky as Starmie can be because it needs to outspeed a lot of things. And yeah, I always thought Starmie had 120 base speed to outspeed Raikou, but it apparently doesn't. So our next mon is gonna be Heatran, because Heatran is reasonably bulky, forces a lot of switches, and is a stop to a lot of mons. Setup Scissor can basically beat me, and this is also our answer to Skarm, just like Starmie kinda is. Starmie just spins away the hazards, recovers off, and tries to burn it with Scalds, but that's not a really effective way of dealing with Skarm. But we're just gonna go with Heatran. Heatran is gonna be leftovers variant with Flash Fire. Shout out to my buddy Ollie, by the way. Lava Plume, Earth Power, and then Taunt, and then we have Toxic, because Toxic is very effective on just things that the team cannot really whittle down. I mean, we do have Hazard Stock, which whittles a lot down, but Pokemon with instant recovery, you can often get Toxic on, and setup sweepers are something that, especially models that cannot directly touch Heatran, like Togekiss. That's not mon I picked randomly right there. You'll see in a second. But so this is our Heatran spread. 68 in speed, because that allows us to outspeed the majority of scissors unless they're running max speed. I don't see any reason to do that because that would sacrifice a lot of bulk. And then we just go with 248 in HP, so we increase our bulk on both defensive ends, and then we go with the remaining 192 in special defense, minus attack nature, of course. So this is a calm nature, lava bloomer, Fireton, toxic Heatran. This thing is putting in a work for this team. The Heatran just doesn't die, and this is also our switch into to the Lottie twins, which potentially can carry Earthquake. But you can scout for that with by nomming a Draco and then just doubling out into your Hippowdon, because Hippowdon doesn't care about -2 Latios in the slightest. Next mon we have, and the very last one is there's a lot of stall going on right now. This is the perfect mon to break, because it outspeeds everything, can potentially set up, and just paraflinches it to death, really. It's a very cheap mon, but it's a very effective one, and I've hardly ever used it. I haven't drafted it. I'm very much regretting it, because apparently this is a check to freaking Megalopony, but which I didn't realize that Togekiss was as bulky as it is. So leftovers, we go with the Serene Grace, and then there is Nasty Plot, Air Slash, not Air Cutter, Air Slash. And then we go with Thunder Wave, just to slow things down in general. This also allows Charizard more setup opportunity. Heatran to outspeed more things, just hit it with a Lava Plume. Even though Heatran has no special attack investment, 130 base special attack is still incredibly good. And this allows you to get more Paraflinch going on with the Serene Grace. That is just kind of ridiculous if you ask me, because there's like an 18% chance of getting a hit off. I'm not sure, but so, and then obviously we want some recovery on this bitch, so that's what we went with. This Togekiss is gonna be physically defensive, or at least kind of physically defensive. This makes no sense in my head, but we go with 248 right here. I go with 176 in speed, because we still want to outspeed the majority of stuff. This allows us to outspeed the likes of Breloom once again, and Bisharp yet again. So that's why we're running this specific amount of speed. And this defense investment, which is going to be the remaining 84, allows us to take 2 hits, 2 returns from Megalopony, and return is actually a bit more has a bit more damage output than Ice Punch does. It's like 0.4% or something, but no questions asked. So Togekiss puts in a lot of work. Togekiss does a lot for my team. It just noms hit very well, and it can actually just sit there, paralyze things, roost up until they get paralyzed, and then just Nasty Blow up or Air Slash, and everything just dies. Because I don't think I have gone unlucky with the paraflinching yet. Togekiss is a monster, and fairy typing is just really good, because we have the Dragon Steel Fairy Core going on in this team. We have our bulky quote-unquote water, and we have a Howler stacking team going on, a good late game sweeper, and a lot of things that force switches. So that was it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If there are any suggestions that you want to leave for this team, leave them in the comment section down below. I will try all of them out. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.